Welcome to the IT Fundamentals Training Series. I am your host, Mark Haupt, and today we are in episode 52, and we're going to wrap up chapter 5, which is software applications, and look over the exam essentials and some of the test questions that we need to look at. All right, here we go. Welcome back. This is Mark Haupt. I'm your host for the IT Fundamentals Training Series, episode 52, chapter 5's exam essentials. So there's a few things that we need to make sure that you understand and know before we move on to chapter 6. So first of all, looking on page 319, you definitely need to know these file extensions that are listed here, the exe, msi.app.bat, and .scexe. So keep in mind that the exe and the msi files are both installation files. The exe, actually, take that back. They're both executable files from some perspective. The executable exe will actually start a program, which could be the executable to install a file. But the MSI is a package that's been put together for the purpose of installation only. So make sure that you keep that in mind. And then BAT, the batch file, is one that is a scripting function that will allow you to create your own scripts and run them as batches, is what that is. So no examples of business software. So project management software, business specific applications, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, things along those lines. Know some examples of utility software. And this is where you're going to have to probably really think about it and just kind of keep it straight in your head, because a lot of people would turn around and say, well, hey, Adobe Acrobat PDF or even a compression or anti-malware tool is also a business software, and you're not wrong. But for the purposes of the book, these are utility softwares pieces. In other words, they have a specific purpose that is used not for you to interact with the computer, but really to defend your computer. In the case of malware or with Acrobat PDF, that product is used for you to interact with a particular type of file that might have been created from a business software. You might use that to sign documents, e-signs, and things like that. So know how to install and uninstall applications. I would recommend that you download a few safe applications from the internet, install them on your computer, uninstall them, reinstall them over the course of a couple of days, and know that process like the back of your hand that's there. All right, so let's go take a look at some of the review questions for chapter 5 that we need to take a look at. I'm going to pick 4 review questions from chapter 5, and I'm going to go back to the appendix A. Remember, that's where your answers are at, is in appendix, actually, I take that back, not in appendix A, in appendix B. That's where they're at, appendix B. My bad. All right, so I've got my book here, and hopefully you follow along, and I've got the answers in appendix B, so we can do these together. All right, so question number 2 is one that I picked out for us to look at. Rose opens her software application and gets a message stating that she has only 16 more uses of the product available. Given the scenario, what is her best course of action to use it more than 16 additional times? A is activate the software. B is register the software. C is uninstall and reinstall the software. And D, no longer close the application. Believe it or not, all 4 are potentially answers. Although at some point you are going to have to close the application to restart your computer or whatnot, and that's going to cause a problem. Uninstalling and reinstalling the software used to be the solution, believe it or not, to this fabled shareware type of scenario, because they didn't build logic into programs way back in the day, 20 and 30 years ago, that would realize that you've uninstalled it and reinstalled it. So then it leaves us with activate the software or register the software. Now, this is a little bit of a trick question, because registering the software, all that does is let the owner know that you are using the software. Activating the software means you've been through all the steps of making it a legitimate copy. Notice that nowhere along the lines here is this asking you to pay for the software, because not every piece of software is requiring money out of you, although most of them do. So let's take a look at whether it's A or B. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to decide which one you think it is. I'm going to go out there and say that it's A, which is activate the software. And if we go to chapter 5, question 2, the answer is A. If a software product is giving you a limited number of uses, you must activate that software with the manufacturer, which is their entire process. It includes the registration process, which is why I selected that. Registration is where you put in your name, contact information into their forms so that they know that you have that software. All right. Number 4, you have just purchased licensed software and want to install it. So those are 2 key pieces right there. You paid for it and it's a licensed software piece and you want to install it. Which of the following are you required to enter to install this software? A, your name and contact information. B, the product key. C, the serial number of your processor. D, none of the above. I can tell you D is not accurate. None of the above is not an accurate one. The serial number of your processor has been a scenario where depending on the type of software, you may actually have to enter in some serial number of your computer or use some sort of a security key that you plug into your computer when you want to use it. I've had to do that with forensic software, for example, or other confidential classified types of software, but that's probably not our answer. I guarantee that's not our answer here. So that leaves us with your name and contact information or the product key. Your name and contact information have already been collected in order for you to purchase the software. So I'm going to say that that's not the answer. So question 4, the answer is B, the product key. And I will verify that just to make sure I don't take you the wrong way, but that is accurate. All right. So product key is the one. You see, I'm really knowing, we kind of know these answers here, but I'm explaining to you why the answers are what they are. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Number 8, word processing, spreadsheets, and presentation software are examples of what? Productivity software, collaboration software, utility software, or operating system add-ins. Well, funny thing is they could be all the above, but again, we're looking for the best answer. So operating system add-ins, well, if you really want to use WordPad or something along those lines, then possibly, but I don't think that's our answer. Utility software, you certainly use them as a utility, but again, remember, utility software has a different definition, and we're probably looking at something that's more business line than utility software. So utility software would be like your antivirus, something like that. So probably not what we're looking at there. Collaboration software, of course, you can collaborate, especially in modern cloud systems. Microsoft Office, for example, you can collaborate and work on a Microsoft Word, or if you're in Google Docs, you can work on a Google Docs simultaneously as more than multiple people can. So that's a collaboration software. But the real answer here is productivity software. So number 8A is productivity software because that's what it's defined as. And yes, that is correct. A is productivity software. All right, let's look at number 11. You need to set up software for 5 users on your network. They all need to have access and to edit the same Excel files. Which is the best type of software for them to use? Now, I picked this question because it's really kind of an add-on to the question we just had. Project management software, online workspace, conferencing software, or document sharing. So this is an interesting question. So you need to set up software for 5 users on a network. They all need to have access to and edit the same Excel files. Which is the best software to use? So project management software, although I've told you before, does in fact have some roots in Excel, is not the answer here because project management software doesn't meet really the Excel standard that's part of the question. Online workspace, conferencing software. So let's come back to online workspace. Conferencing software is like Zoom, for example, where or Microsoft Teams, where you can get on, do video, phone calls, things along that line. That has nothing to do with Excel. So that is not your answer. Document sharing or online workspace. Well, they do say 5 users on a network. And typically document sharing is the one that would be on the network. But I got a feeling that they're looking for online workspace here. Um, and so I'm actually going to go look at the answer here because I could toss up the coin between B and D. I'm going to lean towards B, but might be wrong on D. So item 11, it is B. The users needs an online workspace which will allow them to share files and work with them online. All right, so there we go. That's it. Let's do one more and then we'll see what we've got. Number 16, you just installed an antivirus program on your laptop computer. Given a scenario in which you want to maintain proper levels of security, how often should you update the software? Okay, I'm going to tell you flat out as a security professional that this is subjective. Even before we start looking at the answers, it is subjective, but as a security professional, I would tell you every day, whereas a business professional might say every few days is fine. So let's look at the answers here. At least once a week, at least once a month, at least once a year, only when new viruses is discovered. So again, I'm telling you, none of these are right. But again, we go by the book, so we want to do it correctly. I'm going to say at least once a week, which is A, 16. And yes, that is the correct answer. I have a feeling if you did it, if you did it once a day, you might miss, or I'm sorry, once a week, you might miss something. Most antivirus products today do what we call phone home, and they phone home on a um, on a daily basis. As long as they're connected to the internet, they phone home on a daily basis. You check in with the update server. They check in with the master server to make sure that they are using the right signature, the most up to date and latest. And if they're not, they will download it. So, yeah, the answer in the book is the week, but if you're in real life, it needs to be probably daily in order, especially with all the ransomware and things going on here. All right. Hopefully that's not confusing you. This is episode 52. Updates or wrap up, if you will, on chapter 5. Thank you for joining us. I look forward to going into chapter 6 with you on our next episode.